So in this video, we are going to learn how to create Omnisend contact from Google Form responses. Now suppose guys you have created a form using online form builder like Google Form and you want whenever a user fills the form and submits it, you want to add that same user as a contact as a subscriber in Omnisend. Now guys, let me tell you, you can completely automate this process. So the trigger of this automation will be getting a new form submission, getting a new response in Google Form. And action will be adding the same form submission data, same user as a new contact, as a new subscriber in Omnisend. Now guys, how you can set up this automation? To know this, you have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, here we are on Pabbly Connect's dashboard. Now to reach this dashboard, you will get a free sign-up link of Pabbly Connect in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. And after reaching to this dashboard, just click on Create Workflow and give your workflow a name. For example, I would like to name my workflow as Google Forms to Omnisend. And then just click on Create. Now we can see that our workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we have two different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those two concepts, those two principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's begin with the trigger window. So the idea here is first we have to connect our form which we have created in using Google Form with Pabbly Connect, so that whenever we get a new response, a new form submission in our Google Form, we get that form submission data in our Pabbly Connect workflow. And after that, using Pabbly Connect, we are going to send that form submission data, that form response to Omnisend, so that using those details, we can create a new subscriber in Omnisend. So let's begin. Now here in trigger window, in choose app, we have to search for Google Forms. Select Google Forms. And then in trigger event from the drop down, select new response received as the trigger event. After selecting a trigger event, Pabbly Connect gave us a webhook URL. Now using this webhook URL, we are going to connect our Google Forms with Pabbly Connect, the form which we have created using Google Form with Pabbly Connect. And how you can do that? You just have to follow the help text given below over here. Just copy this webhook URL from here and go to the form which you have created. So this is the registration form which I have created using Google Form. And it is just a simple basic form which I am using in this video. I'm asking first name, last name, email and mobile number from the user. So guys, now we all know that the responses of Google Forms are stored in a Google Sheet. So we just have to go to this responses tab and click on this spreadsheet icon. Then here just select create a new spreadsheet and click on create. Now what we are going to do, we are going to connect this Google Sheet, this Google spreadsheet where the form submission response is stored with Pabbly Connect. So from this spreadsheet, we are going to send the form responses to Pabbly Connect. Now how you can do that? So we have opened our Google spreadsheet, then we just have to go to extensions, add-ons and click on get add-ons. After reaching to this get add-ons page, here you will see that we have reached to Google Workspace Marketplace. And now here in search app, we have to search for Pabbly Connect Webhook. And now you can see that Pabbly Connect Webhooks, this add-on is already installed in my Google Sheet. You just have to install the same add-on into your own Google Sheets account, and after installing it, just refresh your Google Sheet once. This is a very important step. After refreshing our Google Sheet, go to extensions, and this time you can see that Pabbly Connect Webhooks, this add-on could be seen over here. Just hover on it and click on Initial Setup. After clicking on Initial Setup, this box appears in front of us. And here it is basically asking us three different things. First one is the selected sheet, second one is the webhook URL, and third one is the trigger column. Now here in selected sheet, as you can see, there is only one sheet that is named as form response 1. That's why we can see the same sheet selected over here. Then it is asking us for the webhook URL. And now here in webhook URL, we have to paste the same webhook URL which Pabbly Connect gave us. Just copy it from here and paste it over here. After pasting the webhook URL, the next thing it asks us is the trigger column. Now guys, here you must be thinking, what is this trigger column? So trigger column is basically the last data entry column of our Google Sheet. Let's take an example in the background, like we have this spreadsheet and column E is the last data entry column in which my data exists. After column E, in none of the column, any of my data does not exist. So I'm going to select column E as my trigger column. And after this, just click on this submit button. And the setup has been configured successfully. After setting this up, just once again go to extensions, Pabbly Connect webhooks, and this time we have to select this send on event button. By selecting send on event, we are telling this add-on, we are telling this Google Sheet that whenever in a new row a data is added till our trigger column, immediately send that data to Pabbly Connect. So in this way, guys, we have successfully connected our Google form with Pabbly Connect. Now we just have to create a test form response. We just have to make a test submission, a dummy submission in this form so that we can capture this form submission data, this form response in Pabbly Connect. Just click on this preview button over here. And after opening this form in preview mode, let's enter the details of a dummy user. For example, demo is the name of the person, user, this is the email address, and let's enter a dummy mobile number. And after that, just click on submit. Now when we click on submit, we can see that we have successfully received a new response in this for Google form which I have created. And then the response of this form submission is stored in a Google Sheet, as we can see. And because we have connected this same form, this same sheet with Pabbly Connect, we will see this instantly, immediately, this same form submission data will also be captured inside Pabbly Connect. And yes, guys, here you can see that in Pabbly Connect, we have received the response. And in this response, you can see the details of the same form submission. So here we have the same name of the sheet which we have added, for which we have added the webhook URL. And then here you can see the same response. We have the same first name, same last name, same email address, and the same mobile number. Now this means we have successfully received the form submission response from Google Forms in Pabbly Connect. So the step 1 of setting up this automation is completed. And also we have received the timestamp that at what date and time we have received this response. Now guys, let's move to step 2. And in step 2, we have to send this same data to Omnisend so that the user who has submitted this form, we can add this user as a new subscriber in Omnisend. So let's do it. We just have to scroll down, come to our action window, and here in choose app, we have to search for Omnisend. Select Omnisend. And then in action event from the drop down, select the action event as create subscriber. Click on connect and select add new connection. Now here guys, we have to connect our Omnisend account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, we just have to enter the API key of our Omnisend account. Now guys, here you must be thinking how you can get the API key. Now to get it, just go to your Omnisend account and from the right side, click on this profiles option and then click on store settings. After coming to this store settings page, just scroll down and here you can see an option of API keys. Just click on it. And then here you can see a list of all the API keys you have created. Just click on this create API key button and just give your API key a name. For example, I would like to name my API key as PabCon. So this is the name I want to give. Then after this, it is basically giving us two options. First one is this API key will only allow to add new subscriber, and second option is I want to set up custom permissions for this API key. So using this API key, what are the changes can be made in your Omnisend account? You have to enter the permission. Like if you just want to add a subscriber, you can do it, select this. And then if you want to set up some custom permissions, you can select the second option. Right now, because we just want to add new subscribers, so I'm going to select the first option and click on save. After clicking on save, here you can see that our API key has been created. Just copy this API key of your Omnisend account from here, go to Pabbly Connect and paste it over here. And then just click on save. And as we click on save, we will see our Omnisend account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making this connection, the first thing it asks us is the email address. That what is the email address of the new subscriber, new contact which we want to create in Omnisend. So from Google Form responses, we have received the response of the email address which the user had entered while making the form submission. And from this response, basically we just have to map this same response of email over here in this field. And guys, the process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field and in the drop down below, you can see a list of all the responses which we have received from Google Forms. And out of all of these responses, select the response of email address and it will be mapped. So whatever email address the user is going to enter while making the form submission, using the same email address, we are going to create the contact, create the subscriber in Omnisend. Now after email address, the next thing it is asking us is the phone number. Now here we have to map the phone number of the new subscriber which we are adding. So we have also received the response of phone number from Google Forms. So we just have to map that same response over here. Click on this field and from the drop down, select the response of mobile number and map it. Then it is asking us for the status. And in the drop down below, we can see there are three different status over here: subscribed, unsubscribed, non-subscribed. So I want to add this user, this contact and subscriber as subscribed. So that's why I'm selecting it. Next thing it asks us is the status date. Now guys, here in the status date, we have to select the date at what date we had the status for this particular subscriber. Now here we have received the timestamp in Google Form responses. So when we have received a Google Form response, by default it adds the timestamp, the date and time, that at what date and time this response was captured. And we have received the same response in Pabbly Connect as well. So we are going to add this same date and time response over here in status date. But guys, in the help text below, you can see there is a correction. Here the status date is required in this particular format, but we haven't received the timestamp in this particular format. Also, we have to basically mention the date and time according to UTC time zone. But here in this response, we have received this date and time according to the Indian time zone. So guys, what we have to do, we just have to change the time zone and format of this timestamp. How you can do that? We are going to use a feature of Pabbly Connect, that is date time formatter. So we just have to scroll down and before the step of Omnisend, just click on this add action step button. And then here in choose app, we have to search for a feature of Pabbly Connect, that is date time formatter. Search for date time formatter and select it. After selecting date time formatter, in action event from the drop down, select format date with time zone. Click on connect. Then after connecting it, the first thing it asks us is the date. That what is the response, what is the date and time whose format and time zone we want to change. So we want to change the format and time zone of this response of timestamp. So we are going to map this same response over here. Just click on this field and from the drop down below from Google Form responses, map the response of timestamp. Then it is asking us from format, that right now in what format we have this date and time. And in the drop down below, we can see a list of different formats over here. Out of which this is the format in which this date and time is present right now. Month, day, year, hours, minutes and seconds. So we have selected it. Then after this, we have to select two format, that in which format we want to change this date and time. So in the drop down below, this is the format in which we want to change this date and time. So this is the same format you will see over here in the status date section. This is it. So we have to change the format to this format. Then it is asking us from time zone. So right now this date and time response is present in Indian time zone, that is Asia, Kolkata. So that's why here I'm going to select the time zone of my response of Google Form account. And after that in two time zone, we have to select UTC. Select UTC time zone and then just click on save and send test request. After clicking on save and send test request, here you can see that this same date and time is now converted into a different format and according to different time zone. So this is the exact same moment, exact same date and time in which we have received this response in our Google Sheet from Google Forms, but the format and the time zone of this date and time is changed. Now we just have to map the same response which we have received from date time formatter over here in this field. But here in the drop down, you can't see anything. Now because we have added some new data, some new step before this Omnisend step, we just have to reconnect our Omnisend account. Just click on this connected button, select existing connection and just click on save. After clicking on save, once again we will try to map it and this time we can see all the responses below. And from the drop down below, from the responses of date time formatter, select and map this response of formatted date and time zone. After this, it is asking us for the first name. So from the drop down, from Google Form responses, map the first name of the user and then in the next field, map the last name as well. Then it is asking us tags, that if you want to add some kind of tag to this particular contact, you can also do that. So if you want to add a tag, just enter it over here. If not, you can ignore this field as well. Now after this, the next thing it asks us is the contact creation date, that at what date we are creating this contact. So we are going to map the same response of form submission is at the same date and time we are creating this contact. So we are going to map the same response of date time formatter over here as well. And this is also in the same format in same time zone. It is also asking us date and time in same format and same time zone. So from the drop down, from date, time, format and responses, select and map the response. Then it is asking us country, state, address and other details of the subscriber which we want to create. But all of these fields are not mandatory, not required. So we can ignore these fields for now. And then just click on this Save and Send Test Request button. After clicking on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see that we have received some response. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the data which we have mapped over here, basically the form submission, the details the user has entered while making this form submission in Google Form, we have added that same user as a new contact, as a new subscriber in Omnisend. So let's check it. We will go to our Omnisend account and we will go to our audience page. And yes guys, here you can see that in our Omnisend account, the same user whose details we have added while making the test form submission, the same user is now added as a new contact. So this is the name of the person, demo user, this is the date and time when we have added. Then after that we have the same details, same email address, same phone number, same opt-in date and same update date as well. So in this way, we can see that the automation workflow which we have created in this video is working perfectly fine. Now, every time we receive a new form submission in Google Form, automatically the user who has submitted the form will be added as a new subscriber, as a new contact in Omnisend. Now guys, after setting up this automation, let's test this automation once in real time as well. So we'll go to the same form which we have created, we are going to refresh it, and this time let's enter the details of a new user. For example, test Pabbly. This is the name of the person and this is the email address and this is the mobile number. And then just click on submit. So as we click on submit, we can see that just now we have received a new response in the Google form which we have created. And we will see instantly, automatically, the same user will be added as a new contact in Omnisend as well. So we will go to the Omnisend audience page and then here you can see that yes, the same user test Pabbly is been immediately instantly added. We have the same name, same date, same email address, same mobile number and other details as well. Now this means the automation workflow which we have created is working perfectly fine and we have also tested it in real time. So not just these applications guys, you can connect plenty of other applications using Pabbly Connect. And guys, one more important thing. You will find the clone link of the same workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can clone the same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and use this workflow for free. Also let me tell you, Pabbly Connect offers you a free plan. And in this plan, you will get some free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation, you can do it for absolutely free.
If you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can post them on forum.pabbly.com. So if this video was helpful to you, you can obviously like this video, comment down your suggestion and don't forget to share it with others. So guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.